shy. Otherwise, it's awkwardly recording me with this close up. So again, I'm going to record this for anybody who's not here, or in case anybody wants to rewatch it later. And then I will post it in Google Classroom. So for this close reading of the Veldt, we're going to be focusing on the author's use of dialogue and how the dialogue actually helps us learn about the characters. So we're basically going to focus on Peter. So yesterday, right, we looked at the interactions of text elements, and we focused on the role that David McLean had in furthering the development of the plot and revealing key ideas in the story. So today we're going to focus on Peter's dialogue and how Ray Bradbury uses Peter's dialogue as a characterization technique, which means we have to review what exactly it means when we talk about characterization. What does it mean when an author is using characterization in their story? How is it a technique? Basically, characterization is just when the author is using different tools to develop the character in the story so that the reader has a better understanding of their personal attributes. So again, a fancy way of saying characterization is the way we get to know the character. So we know personal attributes, right, are the qualities or the characteristics somebody has. And those can be even something as simple as their physical appearance, could be their age. Most of the time, and most importantly, it is going to be their personality traits, but also their mental traits. You know, are they smart? Are they dumb? What's their understanding of the world, their understanding of the events that are happening to them, their understanding of other characters, their emotional traits, like are they a hothead? Are they somebody who, you know, is attracted to really evil villains in a story? Camilla. Social traits, you know, like are they friendly? Are they introverted? Are they extroverted? What are their interests in life? Their hobbies? What's their occupation? Things like that. All of those are the things that make up a person and who they are, make them a unique individual. And so that is part of an author's job, to help us get to know that character in a lot of different ways. So again, depending on the story, depending on the author, we might only know some of these things about a character, or we could know a lot of these things. Every story is different. But as a technique, the author can reveal these different traits, these different parts of a character through a lot of different tools. They can use dialogue, they can use description, they can use, again, description, but of the character's actions. They can reveal the character and the type of person they are by the way they interact with others. So not just the way that they talk to other people, but the way they act around them, the way they treat them, their internal dialogue, or what we've talked about many, many times before, most notably in The Most Dangerous Game, by setting up a foil character, creating a contrast between two characters and their opposite traits highlight and emphasize each other's. And there's other things, but this is just a little spattering of it. So before we talk a little more, how does a person's dialogue help you gain a better understanding of who they are as a person? Think about it in real life. How can somebody talking to you, somebody speaking, the words they say,
the way they speak, like their attitude, or like, I don't know, their reaction towards what you're saying kind of like shows what they feel or like what they're thinking. And like, for example, if you like say something and like they're just like, oh, okay, like they don't care, so they're probably just like that type of person that if you like, that you can't really rely on telling them something important, because then they'll be like, oh, okay, like whatever.
Interesting. And Melissa, like their personality. So like what is it something, let's think of specific examples of that. What are some things that people could say that would reveal their personality?
The way they react to things.
Give me an example. Like give a specific example. Make up a character, or it could be an example from real life. Something somebody says that shows the type of person they are.
So as Peter was like, I can't paint, I can't tie my shoes, I can't take a bath. You can tell he's spoiled by that. And he can't do anything because he can't do the basic stuff. So like, yeah.
I see Zooey chat. If they cussed you or beat you up for saying hi, yeah. Oh, are you saying Sarah is the one who does that? Interesting. The way that they word things, Joanna said, yeah, that's a good one too, right? Doing something nice can reveal something about them. That's a good one, Melissa. Benson said, what kind of human are you? I am the best, the only one worthy of him. Yeah, if somebody was to say that, what kind of character trait does that reveal? What kind of human are you? I am the best, the only one worthy of him. Sounds like a good line for a romance book. I read a lot of those. Arrogant, yeah. Cocky, definitely. Somebody who's looking to like fight, sassy. All right, awesome. All right, so now let's talk about dialogue a little bit more. I mean, this is a basic slide. I really don't think we need to review this, right? We know what dialogue is, conversation between people. But more importantly, dialogue can reveal significant elements in a story, right? So not only can we learn about a personality, but we can learn about all kinds of plot events just from the dialogue, right? You could have a character say, get out of my room, and bam, you now know what the setting of the story is. You can have the person say, oh, that's disgusting, I can't stand him, and now you understand character a little bit better. You know what they are interested in, what they like. You can get conflict out of dialogue. She stole my boyfriend, she has to pay. Okay, well, now we know what the problem is. This is a fight over a man. You can learn about plot events, right? The narrator doesn't just have to be the one to describe for you plot. So like the character says, okay, time for revenge. Let's head to her house and start phase 1 of Destroy Heather. Bam, now we know what the plot is, what's going to happen, what the future event of the story is. And you can also have a character who directly speaks the theme. You know what? Mom was right. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Bam. That's the lesson of the story. Okay, so our focus question. In the Veldt, how does Bradbury use dialogue to develop Peter's character? Before we even look at the dialogue, what would we say Peter's character is like? How would we describe him?
He's very like spoiled and nasty, I guess, kind of.
He's spoiled, he's nasty. Zooey says two-faced. What other adjectives would we use to describe him? Bratty, Nadia says. OG Mean Girls. Yes, Zooey.
He's like
I can see
whiny.
him hanging out with Regina George.
Dramatic.
Entitled. Yeah, that's a good one, Sarah. I love that word, entitled. Pretty sophisticated one to use. Julissa, what'd you say?
Whiny, like he whines a lot about every little thing. He acts like a toddler. He acts like a toddler.
Awesome. All right, so then all we have to do, if we already know the adjectives to describe Peter, then that's another way you can go about this. You can now just go and find the dialogue that actually supports those inferences about him. But I started off with a line from page 20 of the story. There's no Africa in the nursery, said Peter simply. What do we learn about Peter as a character from that dialogue?
Maybe he's a liar.
Yes, he is a liar. Okay, basic. So this is an easy activity, right? This is so simple. This is such a simple inference, but let's take it deeper. I don't just want to say what we learn about Peter from this dialogue. I want to, like I've always recommended, I want to try to connect it to other parts of the story, the big three. How does this connect to plot events, to other characters, or to theme? He's a liar. He says there's no Africa in the nursery, so we learn he's a liar. And then how does this affect the plot, him lying? How does this affect other characters, him lying? Or what does it show us about his relationship with other characters? Or what is a little lesson that we can learn here, a little theme that's being developed? By the way, guys, the chat is being recorded along with the video. I didn't think to mention that because I didn't know you guys were going to be talking about people tripping. Oh my God. I sounded like such a nerdy teacher right then. Oh well. Don't worry, I can delete the chat. That's not the important part. Important part is my question. How can we connect that line of dialogue and the fact that it revealed that Peter is a liar to a bigger idea in the story? Does him lying right here influence another plot event?
Well, his parents found out that he's a liar. They suspected him even more, and then they asked Mr. McLean to come, if he didn't lie, he told them that he liked the nursery with the Africa in it. The parents wouldn't be that mad at him, and they wouldn't like start like closing everything. They wouldn't think he was hiding something from them. And yeah.
Interesting. Melissa in the chat said it can reveal things about Wendy too, since they are both so into the nursery. Does Peter lying mean that Wendy is also a liar?
I think like Wendy's like the accomplice. Like she doesn't really do anything, but she's just there, like just the sidekick. Yeah, like Ben's the sidekick.
Well, remember, she's the one that goes into the nursery and changes it from Africa to the rainforest. So I don't know if if she doesn't do anything. I think
she's a player, like a side player with Peter. Yeah. Like they're like a little duo team thing.
All right, so these are some good ideas. So here's what I wrote. This reveals that Peter is not afraid to lie to his parents. George knows that there's Africa in the nursery. Peter knows it too. How could he not? And yet he lies right to George's face. He's doing this to protect what is precious to him. So also, and this is where I'm taking it further, connecting it to the big three, this shows the nursery being more important than his relationship with his father. All right, that is a very important idea that this characterization is helping to reveal. All right, one more guided practice together, and then I'm going to send you off independently. So for the guided practice, I chose on page 22, when Peter snaps at the father and says, "On what?" So can we analyze this the way it is on my screen right now, all by itself?
No, we need like background evidence.
Yeah, we need the context. So what is happening right before Peter says, "On what?" Like, what is it that he's responding to? What is it that the father has said to him? What conversation are they having?
I think it was locking the nursery up.
Benson, say that again.
Locking the nursery up.
Yes. So this is the part where he asks the father if he's going to lock the nursery up. And the father says it depends. And then Peter snaps on what? So what does this reveal to us about Peter? The fact that when he asks his father this question, and they're talking about locking the nursery up, Peter snaps at him.
That he shows little respect to his parents, because like, normally you wouldn't snap to your parents unless you want to get hit. So
I like that. Benson's agreeing that he's brave, but in a bad way. It shows his anger. Sarah's right. And then I saw somebody wrote, where was it? He's rude. Yes. Okay, perfect. So now can we connect this to big three? What does us now realizing that Peter is rude and disrespectful to his parents, how does this relate to either a future plot event? What does it show us about characters and their relationships or other characters? Or what does it show us about theme?
He doesn't care what happens to his parents.
Good one, Dylan, right? That he doesn't care about them. And why is that important? Let's connect this now to something else. Because he doesn't care what happens to them, he's disrespectful, he doesn't care what happens with them, what does that then connect to further in the story?
They're deaf.
Yeah. So this reveals Peter is a spoiled child who does not know how to treat his mother. A child should not snap at a parent. It's disrespectful. That reminds you of the TikTok sound. It's disrespectful to you. Peter has grown to talk back and not care about his father's feelings. This explains why he has no problem killing his parents with lions later on, right? So that is me connecting it to the big three. This explains, and I connect it to a future plot event. All right, so now, unless we have any questions, I'm going to direct you guys to open up the assignment in Google Classroom. It is a chart that I made a copy of for everybody. So you're finding 2 more examples of Peter's dialogue that reveal his character. And just like I did in my elaboration, I want you to connect it, because this is the harder part, to the big three. What future plot event does this help us either foreshadow or help us understand, or it influences in a cause and effect way? What does it reveal about character relationships or about other characters? Because obviously we're already explaining how it shows us something about Peter. And then is there a theme that's being developed through this dialogue? Or this dialogue is helping to develop a theme along with maybe other parts of the story? I'm going to stop recording and then I'm going to ask if anybody has any questions.